Sorry about that. Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports News. Man, we have watched some good football today. I'm very excited at what I got to see so far today. And man, Alabama is beating the crap out of Georgia. The score is 30-7. Wow. Whoever would have thought that Georgia will be getting it handed to them today by the Alabama Crimson Tide? 2 against 4. It don't look like two gonna be two no more, because they are not looking good out there in this game. Let me check all of my profiles to make sure that we are streaming. Yeah, we are, man. Wait, man, look at that. We on Facebook. Let me see. Let me make sure we on. Let me make sure we on Twitter. Let me see if we on Twitter. We might even be on, well, X. Can't call it Twitter. No, let me do. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, okay. I don't see us on X, but that's okay. Let me see if we on YouTube. Make sure we on YouTube. It says coming soon at 10 o'clock. Man, why ain't that streaming on YouTube? Okay, yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah. We ready. We ready. So I got 2 out of the 3 working. So we're streaming live on Facebook and we're streaming live on YouTube. So yeah, I'm glad of that. I was just messing with this StreamYard, trying to figure out how to get all of those social media platforms streaming WTP Sports Dudes. And I'm glad that I at least got 2 of the 3 streaming. It may be streaming on X and I just couldn't find it. But anyway, today we want to talk about some of the earlier games that took place and then sort of look at some of the games that are taking place right now. Like I said earlier, Alabama is beating up on Georgia, and that score is 30-7 right now. But earlier today, one of my Texas Longhorns rivals, the Oklahoma Sooners, they beat Auburn 27-21. But Oklahoma gave up 500 yards of total offense against against Auburn. And Auburn is not very good. I think they might be 2-3 or 1-4, something like that. Something crazy. Also, earlier today, we saw number 12 Michigan beat Minnesota 27-24. That game was nothing more than a physical ground and pound game. I was glad to see Michigan pull out that victory. They were handling Minnesota pretty well most of the game. And then, Minnesota made a late run. And you know how that goes in football. You always going to make a run at some point in the game, even though you might have been getting whooped up on the whole entire game. But Minnesota was able to make a run and make it very interesting. But Michigan held on to win 27-24. Hopefully, my man Parlay Poe will come on and give us some more insight into what his Michigan Wolverines did today. Because I didn't get to see much of the game, but I got to catch the tail end of it. I was shocked that number 22 Baylor lost to BYU. I'll pick Baylor to win this game, but Baylor did not prevail. They took the L. They were actually getting manhandled most of this game, and then they made a late run, sort of like Minnesota did against Michigan, and made it interesting. But they ended up losing 34-28. 34-28, BYU beats Baylor. Also earlier today, I don't know what to say about Oklahoma State, man, but They are in trouble in the Big 12 as they get pounded in Manhattan, Kansas by the 23 Kansas State Wildcats, 42-20. And man, Oklahoma State was a team that I thought was going to be one of the teams that possibly represent out of the Big 12. They've already taken the L to Utah, who I felt was the best team in the Big 12. And they also just lost again today to Kansas State, who was another one of the good teams in the Big 12, even though they took it on the chin to Baylor. I mean, not to Baylor, to BYU. BYU is another good team in the Big 12, even though they lost last week. The shocker of the day has to be Kentucky over number 6 Ole Miss, 20-17. Now I'm quite sure all of us thought that Kentucky was through. I mean through, simply because they got pounded by South Carolina earlier in the season. But Kentucky bounced back and had a very good game against Georgia, this Georgia team that's getting the snot beat out of them by Alabama. And they also came out there and played physical today and beat number 6 Ole Miss. Guess what, y'all? It was in Ole Miss, a place that I said it's hard for anybody to go in there and win, because Ole Miss's crowd is usually ruckus, wild, happy, going ham, and it makes for a rough environment for a team to come into that stadium and win. But guess what? Kentucky went in there and beat them 20-17. Now, they held a high-powered offense by Ole Miss to only 17 points. That's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Ole Miss had been scoring in the 50s or higher on everybody this season. Not today. Not today. Kentucky was like, nah, bruh, it ain't going to happen. And they handed it to Ole Miss. Kentucky wins 20-17. Earlier in this game, that USC and Wisconsin game, I bet everybody that comes on WTP Sports Dudes was saying, I told you USC just can't handle that physicality of the Big Ten. And it looked that way because Wisconsin was beating up on them. But guess what? USC ran off, I think, 28 unanswered points and ended up beating Wisconsin 38-21. At one time, that score was 21-7. And they went ahead and went on a run and scored. They scored 31 unanswered points and ended up winning that game 38-21. Ended up beating them by 17 after being down 14 points. Wisconsin, I don't know what's up with you, bro, but you're going to have to get it together. I don't know if you ain't got a good running back, if you ain't got a good line. I know you ain't got a good quarterback, but you're going to have to figure something out because you're going to have a rough road in that Big Ten if you letting the newbies come in and whoop up on you like they did today. USC 38, Wisconsin 21. Another game that's on right now, I think the Ohio State Buckeyes is still beating Michigan State 31-7. By now, it might be 38. It might even be 45 by now to 7. But we all knew what the Buckeyes was going to do. I'm happy to see that freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, is out there balling out. He got 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving, 1 rushing. Another game that's going on that I thought was going to be a really good game, and it is, number 19 Illinois at number 9 Penn State. That game is 7-14 in Penn State's favor. Penn State is trying to pull off another big win. Illinois is undefeated and Penn State is undefeated in the Big Ten. So hopefully one of those teams can stay undefeated. Right now, Penn State is leading 14-7. The last time I looked, Now that score might have changed because I haven't seen it in the last 5 minutes. Another game that I got to watch my boys earlier today, and they were very, very, very sloppy. Very sloppy. 2 fumbles, way too many penalties, a drop touchdown bomb. Come on, Jonte Cook, you got to bring that in. Now, the rest of the game, you balled out, but you can't drop touchdowns, bro. You can't drop touchdowns. You got to catch the ball and take it in the end zone, make our Longhorns look good. Jalen Blue had 2 fumbles that really hurt us, messed up some of our drives. The drop touchdown that I mentioned earlier, and way too many penalties. Now, they called a whole bunch of holding calls in this game against Mississippi State on both sides. Referees, put that yellow flag in your pocket, man, because some of them holding calls y'all was calling was bogus. They didn't even affect the play, some of them. Keep the thing in your pocket, man. Let them kids play football, man. Let them play football. Way too many penalties on both sides of the ball, Texas and Mississippi State. But Texas prevails 35-13. Texas really should have put 50 points up on them, and they should have only given up 6. But, they gave away a second half touchdown, which they should not have given up because we should have had better coverage on that deep ball by my man Gavin Holmes. But it happens. He got beat deep, and they were able to, score the touchdown. But we never should have let a true freshman come in there and play that well, even though we sacked him 6 times. And that defense that Texas has, that pass rush, man, those guys was balling out. I mean, they were balling out. So I was happy to see that we was getting pressure on the quarterback. We got 6 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, which showed that the defense came to play, even though they gave up some yardage in that game. But they only gave up 13 points, which is solid. So hopefully we can rest up, get healthy after the bye week, because I think Jalen Blue is hurt again. Our running back room is just really, really beat up. Right now we only got 2 scholarship running backs that are healthy enough to play, and that's Jared Gibson and my man Trey Wisner, who just came off of IR last week to play in this game. And he played really, really well. 13 carries for 88 yards, I believe it was. I mean, that's a good day for a backup running back who had to carry the load for us pretty much this game. And Arch Manning also had a big day. I mean, he had a huge day. He made up for how he looked last week. I think he completed 70% of his passes. He had over 350 yards passing. I think he threw for 3 touchdowns. And he also had a rushing. He scored 3 touchdowns, and he had a rushing touchdown. So I was glad to see my Longhorns got the win. Let's rest up during this bye week and get ready for Oklahoma the week after that, week 6 of college. Week 7 of college. I think it's week 7. This is week 5. Yeah, week 7 of college football. All right, what else we got? I'm trying to find the score of that Colorado and UCF game. I know Colorado put it on them. And I thought that game was going to be a lot closer. I was rooting for my man, Byron Threet, who plays safety for UCF. I was rooting for them to have a good showing, but they got blew out today. They did not have a good showing, and I thought they were undefeated. I thought they were one of the better teams in the Big 12. They were able to come back and beat TCU, who was a pretty solid team in the Big 12, but it didn't happen. They didn't get that win. But shout out to my man Travis Hunter. I'm saying my man Travis Hunter like he know me and I know him. I don't know him. He don't know me. But I'm going to still say my man Travis Hunter and my man Shedeur Sanders. Hopefully Travis Hunter's name stay up in that Heisman race. I really don't believe he's going to win the Thorpe Award or the Biletnikoff Award, even though he has a showing on both sides of the ball that he should definitely be a semifinalist. But I don't think he's going to win it because what those other guys are doing singly, because they're only playing one position. either wide receiver or defensive back. I think those are going to be the guys who are probably going to win that award. But he has a really good chance of winning the Heisman, though, at this point, anyway. Him and Cam Ward are the front runners. I think we can take our man Carson Beck out of the running for the Heisman because he had a bad showing against Clemson. It was not a good showing against Clemson. It was not a good showing against Kentucky. And then he has yet another bad showing, a not good showing against Alabama. They done picked him off twice already. They then got a safety on him for intentional grounding, and they're up 30-7 right now. All right, what else we got going on today in college football? We got some late games coming on later on today. We got Oregon at UCLA. That's not going to be a good game because UCLA really isn't that good. And I think we got a Washington State game that's later on tonight. I really thought that UNLV would probably take an L today because they don't got their quarterback. Or maybe the quarterback changed his mind. I don't know. But they hung 59 points on whoever they played. So they're still trying to make a run at this 12-team playoff and try to be that non-Power 4 school to get that bid. Right now is Boise State that's got that 12th slot right now in the 12-team college football playoff. It's a commercial right now. I guess we'll get to see. Let me take a look at what's going on in the Illinois and Penn State game. Let's see what's going on there. All right, let's see. Illinois got the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line. They're still down 14-7. Nope, he didn't fumble. We called him down. Okay, Illinois, I see you trying to make a run. It's 8 minutes and 40 seconds in the fourth quarter, so this game is starting to wound out to an end. What's going on, Level Sports team?
How's it going, WTP Sports? Joe's been a great evening. Appreciate you having me as well.
It's been a really, really great evening. Well, great day of football, man. It's been some unbelievable action going on.
Man.
So I ran down some of the games earlier, but I would like to get your point of view on a couple of them.
Okay.
You can shout out any ones you want to start with, or I can tell you some of the sheet I got, and then we can go from there.
I could piggyback off of your sheet. You could just tell me what you got on your sheet, and we can go from there.
Okay, we're going to start off with this Oklahoma at Auburn game. Oklahoma pulls out the victory 27-21. They were down, I think, 11 points, and then they get a pick six. What's your thoughts on that game? What happened in there that you really liked?
Just the defense. You know, I'm big on defense, and I think seeing how Oklahoma could change that game, and I think the defensive side of the ball was one thing that I was waiting for. You know, I was liking the way they were able to move the ball in the first half, but I felt that if they defense stepped up and made a play, and when they did, it was just a backbreaker. And that just goes to tell you anything can happen in the winding moments, as we've seen in this weekend since the festivities starting with Virginia Tech and Miami Friday. You know, we've seen a lot of great games that's been going down to the wire, and with the turn of a play, it could be the change in the game.
Go ahead.
No, and I just that was just my thing. The defense on Oklahoma's behalf, and they was playing a pretty good game as well.
Yeah. I thought they played really good defense, and they have a really, really good defense, man. I think people look at them and see that they don't really have much offensively, but man, listen, their defense is legit.
Yeah, sure.
It is legit. And I was happy to see that freshman quarterback got the start today and actually got the win for Oklahoma. Something that I know that they really wanted to get after losing last week to Tennessee. And it was good to see that young man go out there and get his feet wet and get a win for them. really across the board. There's been quite a few freshmen, redshirt freshmen, who have been getting playing time here early in the college football season. Guys
Yeah.
have been getting hurt. Guys haven't been performing well, so they've been going to their 5-star freshmen, man. And it's been kind of tricky out there.
Yeah, and then another thing with Oklahoma, they've had to literally regroup on the offensive side of football with their wide receivers being down. So, I mean, that's just that goes to show what they're building at that in that facility within that locker room as well, for those guys to come out and continue to fight, each and every possession and to get that big win as well. So I think that could definitely change their season, even though they have a tough schedule, ahead. I think that definitely gives them a different confidence going forward.
Yeah, you really hit on something there because they got 6 wide receivers, man, that are on the IR.
Yeah,
6.
6. It's crazy.
3 of them are their main 3 wide receivers.
Yep.
And then they breaking in a whole new. They lost every offensive lineman they had last year. Now they got all 5 new offensive linemen, man. So for them to be able to do what they're doing and only have 1 loss to a Tennessee team who was very, very good.
Yeah.
Man, listen, we play them in 2 weeks. And I think it's going to be the kind of matchup that it always is between Oklahoma and Texas. Throw all the stats out the window, throw the records out the window. It's just going to be a good game.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed to have looked like so far. Just you could throw the stats out the window when them teams match up. When it comes to big games this season that we've already seen.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on number 12 Michigan we're playing against Minnesota at the crib in the big house? What was your thoughts on that 27-24 victory by the Wolverines?
I watched that game very closely. I can say I was very impressed in the way Minnesota fought throughout that game. I can say Michigan's run game is a legit run game. They continue to pound that ball and it paid dividends. But also to go along with that, I know when we was in a group text, I said, is Michigan a possibility to be in the playoff? And with that being said, because I had changed from the game, and when I seen that they came and made it that much of a game close with them as much time that was left, I said to myself, that might kind of take them out, because I think everybody has showed this week, some teams have showed vulnerable sides of the offense and defense, as well as teams showing how good they can be on the offense and defense. And I think it was a good and a bad thing for Michigan this week, because if that was any other team and they given them that kind of window to come back, I think it was many opportunities where a better team would have took advantage of that as well. So it's a lot of questions to be answered, I think, on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the passing game for Michigan State specifically, which is one thing I did watch. I think they need to find a passing game, because further in the Big Ten, I don't think they're going to let Michigan just run the ball. They will sit in the box, and Big Ten football is pound, and I don't think teams is just going to let them pound away.
I agree with you 1,000%. Once teams get a chance to see that that's all Michigan can do, they're going to start to load up that box, and especially if they got good corners. If they got good corners that can match up man on man,
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be really, really tough, man.
Yeah.
Really tough. Now, the Minnesotas of the world, they can get them, but they're going to have a hard time beating Oregon like that and a couple of other teams.
Exactly.
If all you can do is run, because I think he had less than 100 yards passing again, right?
Yep, I think so. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he definitely did, because I honestly didn't really see him pass the ball. And when he passed the ball, I think the couple times I seen him complete the ball was to Loveland and a couple throwaways, and I think he threw a pick. I'm not for sure. But other than that, I wasn't impressed by the passing attack at all.
Yeah, he did throw a pick. That led to one of their scores, too, when he threw that pick. What was your thought on? Because I think you're the only one who picked them. Well, maybe T1 picked them to win too. 22 BYU at Baylor. Because I know I picked Baylor.
Yes, I'm sold on Baylor. It's another team we're gonna get to. I can't wait to that because that was a crazy one too. The BYU team we had talked about if they get ahead, just like at home, I think when they get ahead, that defense, that BYU, they physical, they up for the challenge, and they will show people that they can, get into that physical nature with you in that football field in the trenches. And I think it's starting to pay dividends for them. And that wide receiver they got with that quarterback, they're not scared to throw that football. And I think BYU is a team that, you got to start to look at because they are undefeated. And it's just when you look at a lot of teams that haven't really, you got Tennessee in the top 10. Tennessee is BYU is not a Tennessee. Nothing against them, but BYU is making a name for themselves, and they're putting themselves in a position to be talked about even more, such as Tennessee. So I just feel that they're a team to be reckoned with. That's another big win. Two straight, one on the road and one at home, and it's by the way of scoring points. And that's another thing. If a team can score points and they got defense to play physical, I think that's going to be something that's going to pay dividends as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I thought Baylor was going to have well, I mean, I guess they made a comeback towards the end, but it was
Yeah,
out of reach because I think BYU was thumping them for a
yeah.
good while in that game, and then eventually, they gave up a couple of touchdowns towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, BYU was just way too physical for them,
Way
way
too
too
physical.
physical for them, man.
Yeah.
What did you think about number 20 Oklahoma State at number 23 Kansas State? That game was 42-20 in favor of Kansas State.
I picked Oklahoma State to win. This was one of my losses, and I give it to Kansas State. After this week, I do believe you picked Kansas State to win this one too and get the points. And I do believe you picked for the over because you said it was going to be like a shootout, possibly as well. Kansas State proved to me that's they definitely the Kansas State team that reminds me of, I think the quarterback was Roberson with that Hall of Fame coach they had back in the day, and they was tough to beat then at home. I think this is reminiscent of that same Kansas State team, and I definitely think they're a team to watch as well. They got the offensive attack on both sides of the ball, and we talk about the offensive line and the defensive line. Offensive line stepped up, late in the game as well as the defensive line. So I feel those things make a difference. And when you have a quarterback that's able to run and pass, I think that's just much more of a threat that you have to prepare for too as a defense, and that gives trouble to opposing teams.
Yeah, I really do believe that Kansas State and Utah are the two best teams in the Big 12 right now. Utah might get Cameron Rising back today. I thought he had a head injury, but he had a hand injury.
Hand injury.
Yeah, I thought it was a blow to his head.
Okay.
He was in concussion protocol, but I guess I heard that wrong.
Mm,
I heard
okay.
head, but yeah,
I,
you know what I mean.
I thought it was the same thing, a head, like a concussion or something too.
Yeah, but it was actually his hand. So he's a game time decision today, which means that he's possibly ready to go. If not this week, then next week. But I really would like to see that matchup between them and Kansas State. Two blue
Yeah.
collar, physical, grinded out teams, man. I really would
Yeah,
like to see that game between them two.
man.
What did you think about number 15 Louisville at number 16 Notre Dame?
That I got Notre Dame. That's one team that I have down. I mean, they only lost one game. It's a lot of teams that's only lost one game, and if you take it into consideration, it was a tough loss that they had. The team really haven't been doing much, but the thing is, they win in games. They played a much stronger game today. They stepped up. on the defensive side of the ball, which I think is a thing to look at because that was something we talked about. You know, how is Notre Dame's defense? But then again, the quarterback stepped up big time today as well. He threw the ball like we thought he possibly could, and he showed us something different as well today in Notre Dame. And I mean, it was. I think that game, and I know I had Louisville as a team to definitely beat. They can be a team to be reckoned with in that ACC, just the way the conference has been going. But for Notre Dame, I think this is a big win moving forward because it's not just against any team; it's against the top 15 team. You know, it's Louisville, even though it's at home, and I think it's just a good win all around. Saves Freeman's job as well, and that was something that they talked about. So it's a good win on that behalf. And Freeman, you get to live to see another week and possibly another year of college football.
Yeah, I mean, we said the same thing, man. We want them to get the win to save his
Yeah,
job, man, because we
yeah.
know that. Listen, man, you cannot lose 2 games, and you're gonna be on a serious hot seat, bro.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be smoking hot.
Yeah, I mean they're projected to be in the. They were projected before the season started to be one of the teams in the 12-team playoff. Actually, taking one of the slots away from one of the Power Four teams.
Four, yeah,
And it's not looking like that. Well, I mean, they still got some time. They ranked number 16. They'll
right.
probably move up maybe a little bit. It depends on how these other games go. But
Yeah, man.
but I was glad they got the win. I knew it was going to be a good game though because both of
Oh
those
yeah,
teams are pretty evenly matched. I guess the home team just had a little bit more today.
a little
And like
more
you
juice.
said, the quarterback, man, Riley Leonard, actually did something more than run to help them win this game. And I think
Yeah,
that was kudos to him,
yeah.
to be able to make that happen.
And that was a team also that last year when he played at Duke, they got the best of him. So I think, he remembered that as well. And I think that's going to be something to watch, depending on how many more teams that I know Florida State, we play Notre Dame. So that's just something to watch. How many more teams he played from the ACC to see how that goes as well for Notre Dame. He might have a little get back and try to prove a point as well. So you never know.
Since we're in the ACC, what did you think about your sleeper team, the Duke Blue Devils, coming back to beat North Carolina, man. North Carolina
Oh,
was blanking now. And they ended up coming back beating them. What is it, 21-20?
yes,
Is that the
21-20.
final?
It
Wow.
was it was 20-7 in that third quarter, late in the third quarter. And I was checking it out on Gamecast. I really couldn't get no view of the game, so I locked in on it on Gamecast. And I was watching the other game, so I seen Duke score a touchdown. I said, "Uh-oh." I said, "My sleeper team." I said, "We back." So I think Duke definitely is not just a sleeper team. They that team that Kentucky came out and they got Ole Miss today. They played Georgia tough. They finally got Ole Miss. So I look at Duke as being an undefeated team, but they bring in how Kentucky have brought it against these last two opponents. They bringing it that way week in, week out. And I think they are definitely a scary team in that ACC because Duke is going to give you everything they got week in, week out. And I just love the fact that I picked them as a sleeper. And I picked them as a sleeper, and I knew Riley wasn't going to be back as well. That quarterback that they have, that's the future of Duke. And I just think when you have, once again, a line on both sides of the ball that plays for 4 quarters, that's stout, it makes a difference. And that's one thing that I've seen across a lot of teams today that's getting big wins is your offense and defensive line is playing all across the board and giving your quarterback the opportunity to showcase his full talent.
Yeah. I didn't know they had a running back. He ran for carried 30 times for 166 yards and a touchdown. But
I
dude,
think and he's not a transfer. He was a returning running back as well, All
oh,
American.
okay, wow. Well, good kudos to them, man. Because I'm glad. Whenever Malik Murphy win a game, man, I'm happy because he's the
Yeah,
transfer from Texas. He had no choice but to leave. I mean, he was just in a bad situation
yeah,
because you can't be sandwiched in between Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers, man. I mean, you
it's
got to go
tough.
make a name for yourself.
Yeah,
So he made the right choice by going, and they 5-0.
5-0.
5-0. Wow.
And I was like, man, when I got that win, I think that took me. I think that put me at 9. I was 8-3 on the picks we picked last week, but everything I got wrote down so far, I think I'm already at that pace, if not a couple wins ahead this week.
Cool, cool. What did you think about that Colorado UCF game? Colorado 4-1, bro. 4-1. They might make a play. They might make a
Hey, listen,
title game,
I'm a,
man.
if I was watching that game, and if I could record so many things, I told a lot of people that if you get once Colorado get into their second year, they gonna be all right. It's a very strong possibility that they make the playoff. And since I've been watching Colorado, I ain't want to tell y'all. I ain't want to keep it in the chat too strong because I'm a Florida State fan. Prime is a Seminole. And I got that blood for Prime in Colorado that I have for him as a Seminole. So if he on the field, it don't matter where Prime at in college football. I'm with you.
Oh, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
I've literally been watching him since Jackson State. I was watching every Jackson State game. I was a fan of Jackson State. I carry it over to Colorado, and they're a team to reckon with. And the reason I say that is because today I seen a different thing as we talk about the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, quarterbacks, secondary, just all the different type of levels. Now we know they hurt in the linebacker area, but for the levels that us and we've been wanting to see in the chat, the offensive lineman, the defensive lineman, they've stepped up in ways. They found the run game. They doubled and tripled their run per average today. So I think moving forward, people can't just come out and say, "Oh, Colorado is this team with prime." No, Colorado is a team with not only one Heisman Trophy candidate, but they got 2. And if people don't put enough respect on this man that's played over 600 snaps, have over 500 yards receiving, over 50 catches, touchdowns over 10. I mean, you just got to look at his whole complete package and what he brings to the game. You got to respect what they're doing, what as a unit, and they're just getting better week by week. And I think that's a big win for Colorado moving forward. I put them at 4-1. They had 4 wins last season. And moving forward, when they said how many more wins you see Colorado getting on that schedule, I seen a win against Cincinnati, I seen a win against Texas Tech, and I seen a couple more. And they better put some respect on their name and know that they coming, and they just might get them a playoff seed because the way things are shaping up, you just don't know when college football Saturday rolls into town what's going to happen.
Man, wouldn't it be lit if they played Cincinnati in Cincinnati, man?
We
They
we
go to
going,
Colorado, though, but they play
yeah,
Cincinnati
that would be lit.
October
That would be
26th. That would
crazy.
be lit if that
Yeah,
game was in
we,
Cincinnati,
we
man.
would find a way to definitely get down there and be live. We would definitely find a way.
Yeah. I think they got a bye next week, and then they get Kansas State, which they're
Hmm.
probably gonna get thumped.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Then they get
And
Arizona.
they played out at Kansas State.
No, they got that in Boulder. They got that at the
Mm,
crib. So that might help them.
mm. That might help them.
Yeah. Then they get Arizona after that in Arizona. Then they
Okay.
get Cincinnati and Boulder. Then they go
Mm,
to Texas Tech.
okay.
Then they get Utah in Boulder. Then they get Kansas in Kansas. Now Kansas in November, man, is tough because that weather be crazy.
Crazy. You don't
Because
know what you're going to get. Rain,
tornado
sleet,
season, the
snow,
wind
mix.
be crazy. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's gonna be the equalizer for Kansas in that game. Even though I think Colorado's still gonna beat them. And then they finished the season against Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
I really
it's
want to see that game because I don't think Oklahoma State is that good.
yeah, definitely. I seen today, like I just think when we look at those offensive lines, Oklahoma State were wearing down. They wearing down too fast, and I think I noticed that. So I mean, I honestly have high hopes for Colorado. I know we all do. We definitely want to see them be successful. So when it come moving forward, I just want to see them honestly win some of these games they got coming. We know they're gonna be tough ones, but definitely want to see them win some of them for sure. That's one thing.
What did you think about that Wisconsin and USC game? Did we talk about that yet?
Nah, the thing I like about USC is you gotta wonder, was last week a fluke? I started to ask myself, nothing against Parlay Poe. I know you watching. Nothing against no Michigan fans, but I kind of asked myself that because, like I said, USC is a team that I still look at, I still like, and I be watching and seeing how they are. So just seeing how they stepped up and performed late in that third quarter, that fourth quarter, and pushing through to get that win and hold Wisconsin from what they like to do. Their corner stepped up, made big plays, and I think it was Ramsey. I've been watching him. He stepped up and made some big plays for USC. So I think that's another big win for USC moving forward. First win in the Big Ten. And they showed a different offensive line and defensive line, I would say, in that game. Even though missing some tackles here and there, I think as the game developed, they made up for those mistakes, which gave them the win.
I was impressed with USC's resilience, man, because they went down 21-7 to
21-7.
a so-called physical Wisconsin team who wants to run
Yeah.
the football and be physical. And I was like, and I think Parlay Poe might have said it too. Listen, they ain't ready for this big boy football in the Big Ten. And then they come back and
Yeah.
score how many ever unanswered points? What was it? 31 unanswered points and end up beating them by
30 to
17.
end up. Yep.
And it was favored by 15 and a half. A 15
Yep.
and a half that I didn't think that they was going to cover. But they ended up
Exactly.
covering that 15 and a half, man.
Yep. And the thing with and you said it right on the button of resilience, and I think that's the thing that for me why I stay with feeling like USC is just going they going to get over the hump is because of that resilience. And I think that's one team, if you really look at in the top 10, I mean, well, not the top 10, in the top 15, let's say, that's been through some adversity already this season, I would say it's USC because they've been trying to figure things out. I would say more so on the go and at times through the game, especially in the second half and being down, against Michigan, then being down against Wisconsin. I think they kind of figured it out, a little bit being down with this Wisconsin win and just like you said, having that resilience.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about that Arkansas and Texas A&M game? Texas A&M ended up pulling it out 21-17. What did you think about what do you
I
think
said
about that game?
I said Vegas must have knew something was up because that was right on the button of
Right,
+4. I
right,
had
right on
Arkansas
the back, right?
right, and I had Arkansas winning, but I was like, they let Texas A&M. They slid away with one. They
Yeah,
slid away with one. I think you couldn't ask for a better game on Arkansas's behalf to be a touchdown away from winning and right there in the game. I don't think you can ask for much, and I think they're going to be a team like Kentucky that you have to watch for that could possibly get you and just it'll be their Saturday because they're going out and they're continually playing the whole fourth quarter down to the last second they had that ball.
this is the difference in that game, man. Arkansas had almost 100 yards more than them, but they had 2 fumbles lost and an interception. And what's the name didn't have any. They had no turnovers. Texas A&M didn't have no turnovers. That's the difference right there.
Yeah.
And you
It's
only lose by 4. Just think if you didn't have one of those turnovers, you probably still could have won that game.
could have won the game
I would like to
easily
see how many points they scored off of those
off
turnovers.
of those turnovers.
Yeah,
And I think that was a thing I noticed today at times. Turnovers. Because if you didn't score points off turnovers, it was tough. Even three, I think teams are starting to get greedy and try to go for it on fourth down and not giving their kicker enough faith. And I think that sucks for the kicker because he come to school to kick the football, and that's what the scholarship for. Give him the opportunity to show what he's there for, and live to see a few more points and have that opportunity to still be in the game.
yeah. Texas pulled one of those today too, man. They made a field goal, but then Mississippi State was offside. They take the points off the board and go for it on fourth and 3 and don't get it. What
Yeah,
I do? Come on, man. Why take the points off the board, man? Keep them points. Now we up 17-3. That's
yeah,
what we want to be.
yeah,
Or it might have been 17-6, something like that. It would
yeah.
have been
17
17-6, 17-3, one of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, don't ever take no points off the board, man. Leave them points there. Now
Points,
we ain't got no points. You know what I'm saying?
points,
Like,
yeah,
come on,
because
man.
points is always good, and there was teams that left a lot of them on the board today. And I think, what was it? Even in the Michigan State game, at a point they could have made the game closer than what it was before it got dismantled. And I just see a lot of points at times that's just missed, and it changes the game totally.
Yeah. Sometimes them coaches just overthink too much, man.
Yeah, definitely that.
Oh, so the Buckeyes end up winning 38-7. I didn't get to see any of that game, but I did get to see some of the highlights and some of the
I,
stats rolling across the bottom of the
I can
TV.
I can say this about that Buckeyes game. This was my breakdown from the Buckeyes game because I did how we had the playoff outlook. I had every team that we picked in the playoff. If they played, I had things wrote down. For Ohio State, I said weapons. Smith. Smith is a weapon. We know about the running game. Downs definitely showed himself today. He showed he could be a force to be reckoned with in the secondary, along with Tui. But the one thing I noticed today was Ibuka dropping the ball. Now, if Michigan State could have capitalized off the turnovers that they got early in the game, this could have possibly been a totally different game. Michigan State had the opportunity, when I say multiple times, to either tie the game or go up at one point, and just fumbled the ball right back, turned the ball right back over. I mean, hats off to Ohio State's defense. Don't get me wrong. Turn the game around as well. But, I mean, I just feel like they had their opportunities. They more than had their opportunities to try to do something to sustain points on the board, but, they just couldn't. You could tell they're a young team, but they do have something, I think, moving towards the future that we'll see in a few years.
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like Penn State is about to beat Illinois 21-7.
21-7.
Illinois, they left some plays out there on the field too, man. They probably could have made this game a lot more interesting. They
Interesting.
gave up a late score just a couple of minutes ago, but they left a lot out there on the field, man. And Alabama's beating what's the name 33-21 now.
33, yep. 33-21.
So I mean, it's good to see that Georgia is still fighting. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
'cause they could have easily have packed up their bags, folded up their tent, and went on home, but they didn't, man. They still out there grinding, and there's
Yeah.
still 9 minutes left in the game, and they're only down by 12. That's only two
Nah, they
scores.
got the ball. They got the ball on. It's first and goal. They got the ball first and goal on Alabama's 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You might. What your TV say the score is? Because I think they just
Oh, yeah.
scored. You
Yeah,
might be a
that was
little
the
behind.
one. That was the one when they just scored there.
Yeah.
31-23, 20. Let me refresh it. Yep, that's it. It's 9:55 in the fourth. So that was probably the one they just got to make it 33-21.
Yeah. Alabama got it first and 10 at their own 25.
Okay. Arizona got a little three nothing cushion almost to the end of the first quarter with a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
Boise State 10-7, trying to convert a fourth down, I think late in the third quarter. I mean late in the just the start of the second quarter. Yep, they just got a field goal to go up 10-7.
All right. So, what did you think about the upset of the day? Kentucky over number 6 Ole Miss, 20-17. And guess
If my
what?
boy
Ole Miss was favored by 17 and a half.
17 and a half. And it was crazy because I think we all picked them or picked Kentucky with the points. And I think we picked Ole Miss to win the game.
Yeah.
So I was just like telling myself, what Ole Miss team will we see today? You know, I picked Ole Miss on the strength they was at home. It was Kentucky. Nothing against Kentucky, but we all knew how they played Georgia and feeling this could be a game where we see who Ole Miss is, and that's exactly who we seen. Ole Miss is the Ole Miss of who we thought. I seen Jackson Dart throwing to Harris heavy, which I feel like Kentucky keyed into, and they offensive line, defensive line stepped up, and they corners made big plays at times. So I think with that loss, I think it definitely puts Ole Miss in a position to where now we question ourselves. Did Ole Miss show us the team that they are, that they can be, or are they going to bounce back from this and possibly give the SEC a shot? That's the question we still waiting to see, as they just answered the first one for us.
Yeah, man. I didn't know the Harris kid had 11 receptions for 176 yards, man.
Yeah,
And a touchdown.
yeah. I got what I got.
Oh,
I got Dart is Harris heavy. Like he definitely throws that man the ball a ton.
that's your Belindakov winner right there, bro.
Yeah, him because I think it was him and the kid Nash the week
San Diego
before
State,
that
yeah.
was the top. But I think with this game and the amount of reception, we see what he means to Ole Miss. If he don't get targets, Ole Miss not in the game. When he get targets, Ole Miss gonna run away, or they gonna stay in the game and have a chance to win it every week.
Dart threw 27 passes, bro. Harris caught 11. Another person caught 3. Another person caught 2, and 2 people caught 1. And this
Man,
guy caught 11 passes. You can add all their receptions up together, and they ain't 11.
they don't even add 11. Wow,
I'm like, oh, that is nuts.
that's damn. I ain't even. Yeah, that's insane, man. That's insane.
That's nuts.
I think moving forward in the SEC, that's going to be tough because you got some proven corners that
They're gonna double him. They're
they're
gonna
going to
double
double
him.
him. And I've been noticing, and I've been waiting to see what team is going to double cover somebody. In Georgia, they tried to do it. I noticed when I think early in the game, Williams went on like an out route or something. They tried it, but Alabama just have too many weapons, and they
Too
can't
much
double
for
him.
him. Too much.
And that's the thing. With Ole Miss, y'all don't have enough weapons, so I think teams are now going to double Harris, and that's
Yeah,
going to be y'all having to show how good y'all really are offensively
yeah. They're gonna put a safety over the top on him almost every time.
every
Especially
time.
once he
Yeah,
play those real good teams in the SEC. When they
yeah,
play Georgia, even though they're gonna have Georgia at the crib, Georgia gonna do that on him all day. And they're
all
gonna be
day.
like somebody else gonna have to beat us. Jackson
Yep,
Dart, gonna have to throw the ball to somebody else to beat us. Because Harris is not gonna
exactly.
be the one that's gonna do
They're not gonna let that happen at all.
it. Yeah. So it's still 33-21. Hopefully, they can continue to make it more interesting.
You see the with the Georgia game,
Yeah.
they got the ball now. They trying to draw it.
I think it was another game. Let me see. Let me
We
check my
had the
thing. See what's what.
hmm,
Let me see. Man, I thought it was another game. Clemson, they beat the snot out of Stanford. Man, I'm not. I know what's the I know Ty C League TV. He ain't giving Clemson no love, but man, listen, since that Georgia game,
they've been
Clemson
winning,
been beating folks down, bro.
and I had them winning too. That's another team I had winning today. Like only losses I had was the Arkansas loss, the Oklahoma State loss, and the Ole Miss loss. Everything else that we've talked about, I've won. Even Ohio State with the points. Even Alabama, as we see right now, if they could hang on. I got Utah, Boise State, and then I lost with the Illinois game, of course. But I took the points in that game, but they still lost.
What you think about Iowa State, man? They blanked Houston today, 20-0, but they ain't had no outrageous stats. I mean, the quarterback only threw for 153 yards. They had a running back that rushed for 101 on 11 carries. And of this guy's 153 yards, he had one receiver that had 8 receptions for 80 yards.
Wow,
He had over half of his yards. His
over half of
receiving
the
yards.
yards. And
Yeah.
what do they got Iowa State? I think ranked like what 18.
18, yeah. They might be better. Listen, they definitely better than what I'm giving them credit for.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think.
giving them no credit.
Yeah, I was about to say because I was looking at them today, and when I was looking at the score, I'm like Iowa State. I'm like, who have Iowa State played? I'm like, I forget what conference they got them in this year, but they 4-0,
Yeah, they're in the ACC. I mean, they're in the Big 12.
and that's what I was like. They're in the Big 12. So let's look at their schedule. Look at Iowa State because they
Yeah.
third in the Big 12. Of course, they undefeated with the conference game. So they got coming up. Ooh,
Well, they almost rushed for
they,
250 yards rushing. That's what it was.
yeah, they got Baylor at West Virginia, UCF, Texas Tech, at Kansas, Cincinnati, at Utah, then Kansas State.
Run that down again.
They got Baylor
They can beat
at
Baylor.
home. Then they got at West Virginia.
They can beat West Virginia.
They got UCF,
They can beat UCF.
Texas Tech.
They can beat Texas Tech.
Then they got that ugly weather at Kansas in November.
Ooh. Well, they got ugly weather in Iowa too, because they get the same kind of
Right.
weather, so they can beat
On that
they can
note, so
beat
they're gonna
Kansas.
beat them. Then they got Cincinnati.
Oh, they beating Cincinnati too.
And then the next game is at Utah. That's the one. And then they got Kansas State at home.
Oh man, they gonna probably be 10-0 by the time they beat Utah. By the time they play Utah, they probably gonna be 10-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's gonna be a team to watch in the Big 12. And right now, you got Colorado sitting at the top, 2-0. Iowa State, then Utah, then Cincinnati, Texas Tech, West Virginia. Them the undefeated teams in the Big 12 right now, as far
So
as in the conference.
they're going to end up being undefeated, 10-0 by the time they play Utah. But
Yeah,
what's crazy about that is if they're 10-0 and Utah is still undefeated too, and say Utah beat them, now they got one loss. It's gonna probably come down to them in Kansas State.
yeah.
It's
And then you got
Let me see if Kansas State play Utah too.
yeah. Let's check that. Ooh, they don't.
Ooh, yeah. Looking at that, Kansas State is they ain't losing no more games, man.
They might hold their own destiny.
Yeah, they're gonna be 11-1.
Yep,
I mean I can't see nobody on this schedule beating them.
I agree.
Nope. I can't see nobody beating them on this schedule. Now them and Iowa State, that's gonna be a good game.
Oh
It's in
yeah,
Iowa State too. It's in what they play at? They play in oh man. Many times as Texas done went down there and got their butts whooped. I should know where that place is. But anyway, that's gonna decide who's gonna play. Probably play Utah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's look at that Utah schedule, man. See what Utah got on the slate. So we got Arizona State, TCU, Houston. Ooh, they play BYU.
You know who I'm gonna go with.
They
You know
both in
who
the
I'm going.
same. They both in the same state, right?
Yeah,
BYU was in Utah. Yeah.
that's like a
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one,
you
boy.
know that's gonna be a banger. So you know BYU bringing a home crowd. You know they gonna definitely pack the spot. I don't know. I just got a feeling BYU is definitely a team to watch. I know I had Arizona in certain ways, but I don't know. BYU is a team I've been watching ever since we had them on that pick. I just like how I picked BYU. They just a team that's scared. They play you tough, but they really that physical now.
Mossberg. It's scary, bro. It's
Yeah.
33-27.
Oh,
It's scary, bro.
oh, hold on. I might have to pull it up on the YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know what, man? And
36. Yeah. Good.
man, what's crazy is when I was watching that game earlier and I seen Alabama going on that run. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, they killing Georgia. But in the back of my mind, I was like, dude, I seen this stuff way too many times, man.
And
Where
I was thinking how good is a 28 or 30-7 lead, and it's still a whole second half left. That's what I was asking myself. And
yeah,
just Kirby Smart, knowing who he is. I know, man, and back 339. Heck of a
oh, he
second
didn't
half
pass for three.
feedback.
Oh, and I wrote him off for the well, he probably still ain't gonna win no Heisman. I
I
wrote him
just
off, but
yeah, I can't put him in my Heisman vote still because I still feel Alabama is gonna come out with this. I don't know. It's tough. I'm not
it's
gonna say. But if they win this, you know they're gonna try to talk Carson Heisman. You know they're gonna be talking.
you
That's the
know it.
thing
You
that
already know it.
and
Look at
and
him on the sideline like yeah. I'm telling you right now, if Alabama don't score right here,
They in trouble.
They're in trouble.
Yeah. They got to get some kind of points on the board. A field goal, a touchdown to really.
And look what this bonehead dude, he going, you got to pick that ball up. They muffed the kickoff.
Yeah.
Right? Dude about to pick it up, but his teammate jumps on the ball on the 2-yard line. Now that's where you got the ball at. Your boy tried to pick it up and get some yards. He jumped on the ball.
That's the dumbest thing
on their
he
own
did.
3-yard line.
He done messed it up.
They messed it up. Wow. Man, and they came out on fire on Georgia too. If they lose this game, man.
Well, that's Williams, the freshman back there, telling him. Now, if a 17-year-old is telling you to do that, that tells you where his poise is.
Right. Oh, yeah, that kid, man, he's something special.
Oh, no, that's him that did it. That was him.
That jumped on the ball?
No, that was him that muffed it.
That muffed it, yeah. And he looked at the dude like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, good catch. You got one for us. Now listen, you gotta work that clock, man. Don't hike that ball until it's under 3 seconds. Force them to have to use them 3 timeouts, and then maybe you might be able to milk that clock.
282, 339. He really haven't done nothing since that first half.
Yeah. He ain't done much of nothing. Once Kirby Smart make them adjustments on you, man, you really gotta go on your bag of tricks. Something that he ain't seen yet.
Because he's seen almost when you play in the SEC. I don't know. Like, people can say what they want about football, but the SEC, you got to think of just the coaches that you have in the SEC and the success that they've not only had, but success in making changes on the fly. That means they got a plethora of what's in the bag. So you got to always be ready for that. And it's not over. That's just the thing. And right now, it's like, is Alabama going in their bag right now?
Right.
It's just trying to keep the up tempo, keep Georgia off the field with their substitutions, because Georgia been going deep in their arsenal with the plethora of players. I think today as well. They've been running in a lot of players.
Get that first down, bro.
Yeah.
They got a punt. Now, I don't think they're going for it right there on the 20. What's that? The 27-yard line. They're gonna have to punt 4th and 1. You better not. I was about to say, boy, you better punt that ball. With 3 minutes left, let's see what Carson Beck can do. Yeah, people talk a lot about the SEC and it being they get all this love from the voters and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, they've proven it year in and year out. Like, what can you say? I mean, when Ohio State played Georgia that year, they was beating Georgia the whole game. The referees ain't keep Georgia from winning. I mean, didn't keep Ohio State from winning that game. Georgia did.
Georgia did. I say it exactly.
Wow, they right back in it.
They done locked in on that run. How Milroe moving that ball.
Yeah, they shut that out in the second half. They've only scored. What was that at the halftime? It was 30-7 at halftime.
Yep, 30-7.
30-7 at halftime. Yeah, they only got 3 points in the second half. Wow, if they win this game, Alabama fans are going to be mad as all get out. And this is going to be the second year in a row that a team has come into their stadium and beat them. Oh, we got him! Oh, no! Oh, touchdown. Wow, they got the lead, bro.
It's crazy.
They got the momentum, and Alabama ain't been able to slow them down
at all.
Look at them fans.
Woo-hoo. This about to send the rankings in a whole shock.
Right. Yeah, you got to go for two. You got to put it on a three.
Yeah.
Got to put it on a three. Wow. Man, I talked all that stuff in the chat too.
Yeah.
And on here before you got on, I was talking about how Georgia was getting the snot beat out of them. Now look,
Yeah.
I gotta eat my words.
Man.
Gotta eat
This
my
is
words.
it's still time left. This is wild. This is wild.
Wow.
And everybody, and look, I even wrote down. I had five Georgia. I said,
Nope.
what will we see? Who is Georgia? Quarterback change, question mark. Then I had on the other side, I had Georgia versus Bama. I said, what Georgia team is playing on Saturday? I said, who is Carson? Where's Carson? Now he's throwing for 400 yards,
Yeah, yeah.
300 in the second half.
I was ready to call him overrated.
Yeah, I was on the same boat. This is insane.
Ooh, what a move. Ooh. But ain't that what we talked about earlier?
Yeah,
Alabama secondary is so young, man,
yeah,
that you can make plays on them guys. They're talented, but they're just young.
young.
They're young.
And he ran right by him,
Right
and you,
by.
and you got too deep, and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, yeah. The game on the line now, buddy. You can't let him get over your head.
Yeah,
He'd have been better off just jumping in front of him and stopping him from and impeding his progress instead of giving up the
exactly.
touchdown.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get the 15-yard or the 10-yard holding or whatever they put a card on it. All right, Milrow, earn your money. Earn your money. Let's see what he can do. Come on, let's see what you can do, Milrow. He looked like he ain't got no confidence either when you look in his face.
Man, not one bit.
Going deep. Williams, oh, your boy, look at your boy. Tom, you got my bad, face, my bad.
We good.
Oh,
We
he took it
good.
to the crib.
We live. We good. We good. They did it. They did it. They did it. Now, Melrose,
Williams is the truth.
I told you.
Oh, my God.
I told you. That boy got some burners and he smoked him.
Williams is the truth. Wow. When he committed to Alabama, man, I'm telling you, Texas was
Man.
tough, right? And Texas got his quarterback that's still in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To Texas, man, and he was like, "Nah, I'm going to Bama, man. I'm going to
Yeah,
Bama."
that's man. You can't ask for nothing better than this, man. This might be right now. This is the game of the year, man.
Oh,
I
and
mean,
they got the two.
SEC fireworks. You can't ask for nothing else, man.
7.
17 years old. You out here performing like you out here performing, and you supposed to be playing. You supposed to be resting from last night's football game,
Right, yeah.
and you playing prime time tonight,
Getting ready for
making
homecoming.
catches like that, making moves like that.
A true freshman,
True
bro.
freshman. That's crazy.
Oh, look at that move.
I know Smith got a couple one-hand grabs, but that right there, he mossed him. And then to put the move on two of them and they smacking each other like that, I don't know. I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know. Woo. This here freshman, man. As you was just saying not too long ago, this freshman class we seeing is different.
Man, this freshman class is different.
Man.
Different.
But the crazy thing just watching this replay over and over, that looked like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase at
Yeah,
LSU. Like
yeah.
that's just pure talent, man. We talking about Travis Hunter. I think he's the one to talk about offensively. Nothing against Jeremiah Smith, but this kid is 17 years old, man. You just don't do stuff like this on a big stage on Saturday Night Football.
T1 in the chat talking about this game.
That's tough, man. City League, what's good, man? Shout out to Smith and his couple one-hand grabs this evening for sure. But you know, this is my pick right here. You know Williams is my guy. I've been talking about him. Just don't nobody talk about him. I love that Williams kid, man. The chat is going crazy.
Cuz said it's shady business.
Man.
It's going in overtime. It's shady business.
Man. Woo. This is wild. I might have to put me another pot of coffee on.
Right.
This is a good one. Let me let me pull up the other screen. I'm gonna check the other I'm about to, matter of fact, scroll down to my Seminoles real quick because it was 14-9 at halftime. I was just keeping up with it just because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm watching all. And after that, after the way Miami played and seeing how Clemson has been playing and just watching the ACC, I think, and perhaps how Kentucky's been playing and they finally got the win. I think my Seminoles is we gonna definitely get to the bowl game, and you never know. Teams is taking losses.
Yeah.
And if you win each week, you never know. At the end of the season, you just might be higher in the win column than other teams, and it'll pay dividends.
You know, another thing that's happening, man, is injuries is mounting like crazy on teams, man.
On teams, yeah, definitely.
The injury bug is lighting folks up.
And it's a big thing. Was it I was watching a game today, and it was a big injury. It was it the Michigan game? I think one of I can't remember if in the Michigan game somebody got hurt. But for sure, I think the USC game, but I'm not for sure. I think in the Michigan game somebody got hurt. And they wasn't for sure if they was going to return back to the game, and they kept him out for precautionary reasons. I'm not for sure if it was in the first half or in the second half of that game.
Yeah. Injuries are definitely mounting up on teams, man. That's why you really got to be able to go 2-3 deep.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
You want to front load your schedule, man, so that you can get those young players as much playing time as possible. To have a game later on a cupcake game later on in the season, that doesn't get those guys the reps they need. They need that much front loaded in the beginning of the season. If you got 4 non-con teams on your schedule, you want to put them guys up front, man. You don't want them in the middle or towards the end of your season. Even though you might want a cupcake game to just, to rest up some guys, but that ain't helping you when you need to be 2, 3, 4 deep, man.
Exactly. And the only team I really noticed that plays, it seemed like first, second, third string when they get to that third quarter and they blowing out is Ohio State. And I think it pays dividends for them late in the season when they letting them players get that run early in the season in games that may not mean nothing, but it do mean something because they getting their feet wet in games and they getting them hits. Yeah, the chat going crazy.
Yeah, the chat going nuts. It's going nuts.
I'll try to get to check the other scores too at the same time because I know you got the Alabama one. I'm trying to pull up because Arizona, I was checking that score. Think they was driving.
Yeah, Utah got the ball now. They 2nd and 5 at Arizona 6 yard line, so they trying to score. But
Mm,
Arizona up three. Is up three
Three
nothing.
nothing.
Oregon,
Boise State, Washington State tied up 10 apiece. Oregon only up by a touchdown.
yeah, they up 7-0. UCLA they in 1st and 10 in Oregon's territory on their 48. They might
Ooh,
go down there and get some points.
mess around and get something. Oregon better stop playing. They already see what Kentucky did.
It look like Utah might be kicking a field goal. They got
Oh,
4th and 4
yep,
at the Arizona 5 yard line, so they might be about to kick a field goal.
kicking it. Yeah, 3-3. Oh, yeah, we getting trounced on. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, Florida State fired. I'm looking at a video as it's popping up in my screen. They just got a pick six. It said SMU pours it on with pick six of DJ Ukulele. They need to put him on the bench
They need to put him on the bench, man. I
and get him
mean,
up out of there, man. He killing us.
just go to him and say, "Listen, man, your time is up, bro. We got to go ahead and try to look at our future.
Yeah,
We got to you can hold the clipboard.
yeah.
Help get this guy ready for us for next season, but we got to give somebody else some reps, man. We can't keep going with you because we ain't winning no games."
Not one bit, man. It's sad because for me as a fan, I'm just sitting here 42-16 to SMU.
Oh, you
1-3.
42-16?
42-16. That's insane, man. I gotta go to the stats of this game real quick. Let me hit the box score, man. I just want to see the total of what he's doing. 12 of 30, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Wait a minute. DJ got 3 interceptions.
3 interceptions.
Yeah, they tripping, man. Go ahead and let that
And
man sit down and hold the clipboard.
they quarterback 16-23, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns. Running back 17 carries, 129 for them. Like they just out there having fun, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't. I don't. Norville, you gotta go, man. We gotta find a way to pay that man his money so he could get up out of there, man.
Yeah,
No
so he
disrespect, but he gotta go, man. That's not Florida State football. I haven't watched the game since we lost that second week. Since we lost that second week, I literally haven't watched the game. Like I just put it on my game cast. I don't even watch the games.
right.
It's that bad for us this year. To me, just me as a fan, I'm done with them. Game cast only.
That game,
Game cast only. That's it. It's a tough loss. 14-9 at half the time to 42-16 in the fourth quarter.
I don't know, man. Georgia trying to make a run at it, try to
And
send
make
it to
it
OT.
4th and 2.
Miro went on the sideline like, I ain't got another one in me, man. He said, y'all got to hold this defense. Y'all got to hold them because I ain't got another one in me.
Man,
Oh, this dude down hurt. Trying to last this last minute and 15 seconds, man, but oh no.
like they called the timeout. I'm about to go look at the stats of it too. Because it's crazy. They both Becton threw over 400. Melrose got 374.
Milrow got 374.
370. 27 for 33. Like if just after today, watching this game and keeping up with this game up until getting on the chat and still keeping up with it, you have no choice but to put Milroe, then Cam Ward, because I feel just on the struggle end of that game and them feeling that me personally, I felt that was a catch Virginia Tech touchdown. Just me. But I think from that game and the big battle of the SEC of this game, Milroe would go on top. Cam Ward would be after that. And then you have to have Travis Hunter in this discussion. I don't care what nobody say. They better listen to what Charles Woodson been saying. He have every bit of the reason to be in that choice of discussion, not only because they're at the top of the Big 12, even though it's early, but they're 4-1. And he's more than a reason of that 4-1 success, and he's playing both sides of the ball. So they got to respect that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, man. He's been in all 4 of their wins. He's been a key factor in all 4 of their wins.
Yeah,
All 4.
definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I would have Milroe just because of what he's done in this game. 2 against 4. I mean, he's playing against a better competition than Cam Ward has to date. And what he's done, hell, I mean, they was just on the verge of probably losing, and this guy throws a 75-yard touchdown pass.
Right.
After I said he looked like he's scared.
Yeah. I mean, just went out and launched on him.
Oh, what they call nothing? Okay, you got. Man, he swallowed the whistle, man. He was supposed to swallow that whistle. He had him though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was close though. They could have called pass interference on that. Yeah, they definitely could have called pass interference on that. Yeah, and then Cam Ward second, and then Travis Hunter third in the Heisman Trophy voting. For me right now, too, I agree with you on that.
Because I just been looking at like Jackson Dart, you took yourself out of it, with the loss. And I just think that, like, for me, like I'm still going to, be big on Arch Manning, just knowing how young he is and seeing how good he is. But I know the one thing I did write down is Ewers back. He makes the difference. And I just think it'll be a different. I think we all even see a different Texas team once he get back, of course. But I think it'll be a different level of a Texas team. Like with Ewers there is just a different. You got a leader, he bring that fire, that intensity, and I think that definitely makes a difference for Texas on this back 9 of the season.
That's game.
Oh,
interception in the end zone. That's game. Yeah. We're a totally different team with Quinn Ewers, man. I even think that they perform better when they know, and I think we got more plays that we can run when he's at the quarterback than we do with Arch Manning.
Yeah.
We got a set amount of plays we can run with Arch, because I don't think Arch is really in a position where Quinn Ewers was in last year. Clark could not give Quinn Ewers the whole playbook because he wasn't ready for the whole playbook. He could only give him enough to where he was at that point last year. And I think that's what Arch Manning is now.
Yeah.
So now this year, Quinn Ewers has gotten more to playbook, and you see it. I mean, when you really watch Texas play,
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers is throwing that ball all over the place, man. He's doing this thing where Arch Manning, you really can't call certain plays with him because he ain't there yet. But next year, when he get a chance to be in spring ball, fall ball, he'll be ready. He'll be at the level that Quinn Ewers is now next year.
Agree.
Because it'll be his 3rd year in the system, learning the plays and the offense, and he'll know the ins and outs of everything that Steve Sarkisian wants to do and we'll still have a plethora of wide receivers for Arch Manning to throw to next year too.
Right. Big time interception. I don't know. They secondary is still gonna be a question to be answered. Like they still gonna have to answer, what they secondary do these next few games moving forward for Alabama.
Yeah.
To really, I would say, I like this. I like this game for them. I like this win. For it to end on an interception for the secondary, but I think in this type of position, I think the secondary got a heads up because they want to throw to try to score in that end zone as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the end of a part of Alabama that has to improve and improve fast because 30 points at halftime and you get 11 in that second half. You got to do something defensively to keep that going, to keep them from putting up points to give it a battle.
Let's see what Alabama's schedule is going forward. They get Vanderbilt next week. Then they get South Carolina at home. Then they go to Tennessee. Then they get Missouri at home. They get Missouri and Alabama. Then they go to LSU.
That's always
they get Mercer. They get one of those
little
whack teams towards the end of the season. Then they get Oklahoma and Auburn. That Oklahoma game might be interesting, man. It's the second to the last game of the season. The second to the last game of the season. I wonder what Oklahoma's going to be looking like at that point. Are they still going to be playing that freshman quarterback, or are they going to let Jackson Arnold get back behind the center?
Yeah,
I'm anxious to see what that looks like.
And then even the LSU game, because I think the month of November. I think the month of November is going to be some tough games for teams because I think at that point it's going to be teams that have gotten some of those tougher games out the way to a point, and then November is going to be where some teams maybe separate themselves. I say the LSU game because of it being at LSU. LSU has only lost that one game to USC, and right now, week by week, as much as it looks, you got Michigan that's only lost one, which is to USC, and LSU has lost one, which is to USC. No, Michigan didn't lose to USC. I forget who Michigan lost to, but USC had to who?
Texas.
I don't know how. Michigan lost to Texas so many games, and then you got USC that's lost to Michigan, then LSU that's lost to USC. So I think with them teams being in that area, I think you still have to always worry about an LSU team being ranked this high, especially with that game against Alabama just being a rivalry type of game that it is. And I think at that point, you never know. Maybe a bigger game than what we may see now for LSU and Alabama come down the road.
And that gives LSU time to start getting that defense together, man. I think offensively they're where they want to be.
Yeah.
They can still get better, but they're good enough offensively to win games. They just got to get that defense together. If they get that deep, because they lost their number one defensive tackle and their number one pass rusher. They lost both of them for the season.
That's tough.
If they can get that defense together, but it's LSU, they're gonna have talent.
They're gonna have talent, right?
Have talent. So hopefully they can do that, and then they could. This could be a pretty tough stretch for Alabama.
Yeah.
Especially LSU at night in that stadium, man.
In that stadium rocking. It's crazy.
It's
going to definitely be crazy.
It's going to definitely be crazy.
You're right. If they defense come together at that point, and as we see, what can Alabama secondary do against a team if they come out and they, pass heavy and they making stops? Can y'all come back from a 7-point lead, being down 7 points or 10 points, instead of maintaining the lead and being up? So a lot of questions will be answered with a lot of teams still at this point going into week 6.
Right. All right. Well, that's over with. So, I mean, I'll probably be home tomorrow. So, if y'all want to jump on in the morning at some point in time, uh, we can talk some more college football. We can talk some NFL that's going to take place on Sunday. Just let
Cool.
me know. I'll hit everybody in the morning. Then, if somebody interested, I'll set up a live stream and we can get on here and talk to business.
Cool. You already know. I'm gonna be looking at my notes and probably getting up early in the morning and taking because I already know we already got our picks for the NFL. So get up, look at my stats, and had some content for everybody to see and talk about for sure. For sure.
Yeah, because our boy might play tomorrow. Jordan Love might play tomorrow, and
Yep.
they decided they're going to start Tyler Huntley against the Tennessee
Yeah.
Titans for the Dolphins.
See. Yeah. So that's gonna be a big one too.
Yeah. All right, Level Up Sports 10. I appreciate you coming on the show tonight,
No
man.
doubt.
Good.
Appreciate you having me as always.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'll catch up with you. I'll see you, bro.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.